Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, some of you coming in from a late night on a Sunday, Monday, hairdresser's life. Remember those days, Mike? Yes, you telling me all about them. Welcome to another Unite Live prior to us going to New York. And before I start, I want to dedicate this episode to my mother. For those that know me, you'll know why. So this one's for you, Mum. We're doing a haircut today, Shag. So I pre-sectioned it off. This is a variation of something I've done before where I used what I called a star pattern on this. So I'm going to show you what we've got through here. We pre-sectioned off a halo section with some of that old haircut in there. If this mannequin was going to work for me. There we go. So I'm going to spin it round so you can see. So you've got pre-sectioned off a fringe area up to high point into recession, and from there we run it around, and you've got balance-wise points either side through here, and as you can see it comes down to a very soft point. So the star shape had a little sort of bit more of an exaggeration on that, so it's going to be a softer version of it. There's so many different variations of doing shag haircuts. You can find them all over social media, and this is one I would just like to share. And why did I choose it like this? Purely because it's predetermined on the mannequin I've got, so it would be the same if you're dealing with a client, of where the bulk of the hair is, where I need to leave some of that perimeter, because I really want to make sure what I like about sort of like the modern shag is where it looks a little bit more one length here in the front, even though we will put some layers in there, but I'm not impacting that front. It's very important we understand we don't want to impact that front too much. By all means, you can have layers in there, but it once again depends, I feel, on the quantity of hair. So for you to actually see this, I've got to take my jacket off quickly. So, because it looks better if I've got a white background against the dark hair. Mike approves that one. As per usual, let us know where you're tuning in from. Any requests, questions, doesn't have to be about hair cutting, it could be about anything else. Michael, let me know if there's anyone in there saying hello or anything.
That's correct. We've got a Can't Wait to Meet You for New York Fashion Week from House of Hair Studio, Atlanta.
House of Hair. The House of Hair Atlanta. Yeah, looking forward to having you there. So I'll take you to be on the 2-day boot camp with me. It's going to be amazing, myself and Narad. Just to let you know, we've got a lot of shows this year. So we are hitting the ground running we've got the classes start Tuesday and Wednesday, and then we are straight into the shows Wednesday afternoon. So the guys coming to the class, I'm forewarning you now, we are going straight into doing a show that day on the Wednesday. So, or at least some of you will be, depending on how well you do, maybe. Right, let's have a look at this. Now, we could, if speed be the option, take all of that out, but I want to make sure I have a look at where does this impact. I want it to impact beyond a perceptible bone. Okay, so where that layer is, I'll do a profile section first off. Profile running, as it says, the profile of the head. Now I put clips on here because we want to make sure that hair stays out of what I'm doing initially. So we overextend the hair up to the top of the head and cut that. We could cut that square. So here we go. Now this mannequin is not great. If this is a client and I've got them in a salon, do I point cut that or do I blunt cut it? Look, there really isn't any bulk there, so I'm going to blunt cut this purely because I want to create the illusion of bulk. It is so stringy and fluffy on the rest of the hair. So let's, tension wise, I like to go from fingertip to middle knuckle and don't go beyond that.
Got a hello from Allie the Hair Slayer.
Allie's watching. Well, she's got nothing better to do on a Monday. She's just, she's either being nosy or she's stalking. And I always think it's the latter.
It's definitely the latter.
Yeah. I've been awake for so long, she's just missed all the abuse. Are you working with us tomorrow, Ali? I believe she is, isn't she?
I think so.
Yeah?
She can confirm. I know she'll be in New York.
Yeah, but she just runs around in different outfits in New York taking pictures. Doesn't do much up there.
Well, she is an influencer. She says she misses you.
Well, who wouldn't? I mean, come on. I'm supposed to say feelings mutual, aren't I? But not today. Not today.
She said yes, see you tomorrow.
Good. Hope you bring in an assistant that's useful. Not saying your assistants aren't useful, I'm just saying, you know what you're like with Stacey, you start chatting, I can't find you, la 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 la.
She's got the best outfit, just you wait.
The best outfit? What, for tomorrow?
I would imagine she means for New York, because you were saying.
What do you mean just the best outfit? How many? Listen, truth be told, I've already had a sneak preview of one of Narrod's. So I mean, it's huge. Going to Fashion Week now is huge. It's the I'm not trying, but I'm trying. Right, continue up to square on the head. Now I'm overextending everything back to the middle on this, and that is purely because of how much hair I'm dealing with. If I had a lot of hair, I wouldn't. I would continue out following the round of the head, but overextending, so I would maybe cut it square. But on this, I'm pulling everything back to the middle purely because I don't have a lot of hair in there, and I'm trying to maintain some hair. Make it easier for me when I connect the other pieces. So make sure your section's nice and clean, and we're just repeating as per normal. Fingertip back to middle knuckle, elbows nice and high. Look, if I can get my elbows up at my age, which is like 750, you guys can. And it's good for you because, and here's a little aesthetic thing, you spend so much of your life blow drying the hair, cutting the hair like this. It is good to open up the chest area and shoulders and get them back, lift up your elbows. So it does us all the world of good. I've got someone running around like a flyer on me today. What are you doing? Behind the scenes shots? Doing BTS. We've got someone else in doing BTS. Buzzing around my head like a fly. Ali doesn't go through all this. She probably gets a full crew.
She might have a couple phones strapped to her.
She gets proper lighting, filter, everything. I've seen that filter you use on her. It's really good. Mike's nodding, Ali.
It's a good filter.
It's a good filter. I don't get that option. I just get the grumpy old man one. That's all it goes in. He says, I don't have to do much to the camera. All I've got to do is just, he says, all I've got to do is clean the lens. Then it comes out beautifully. Anyone else in the chat?
Got a couple of viewers, nobody chiming in.
Come on, guys, chime in. Give me a piece of rope to hang on to.
I don't have to take this abuse, thank you very much.
You do, because you can't answer back.
You'll have to take your chance tomorrow in New York to dish it out, Allie.
Yeah. Where are we going to eat? That's what she's going to hate hearing that one. Okay, let's do exactly the same the other side. Let's reiterate what we do. We're working off profile section. We are now working short to long. Short to long being me, and I'm working from my initial guide out to long. Okay. Little terminology, things like that will help you when you watch any of our videos dating back to the wonderful Evolution collection that has been a mainstay for us as far as fundamental hairdressing has been concerned for quite a while now. I did a haircut video last week. A huge amount of people tuned into that one. That was on fundamentals. Very successful for clients of ours. So, as I said to them, if you've got a request of what you'd like to see, put them in the box. Make a comment. Send it to Unite Hair TV. What would you like to see on a live? There you go. There's one for you, because we always dictate to those. Don't we? I think we do, don't we?
Yeah, any suggestions that come in strongly?
Yeah, come in. Let's have them. Let's have those suggestions. So why did I choose this section again? Everyone who's just tuned in, I chose this very soft, what I call it a star shape, because it comes from the front. It comes back to parietal ridge and it comes back into a point. So it's almost like a diamond, I suppose is a better way of looking at it. It's a rounded diamond shape is to deal with the main bulk of the hair in that area of the head. And then we're going to play with maybe a little bit of disconnection or heavy overextension just to blend those layers in. As I said, it's just one version of many. It will all depend on the hair you pick up or your client has. On this occasion, we're overextending everything back to the middle. So keeping the weight heaviest there, making sure we don't debulk too much of that sides. And once we've done that, we can then have a look at where those layers impact. And this is where, from that crown area, we just have a look at that. And it just goes just beyond occipital bone, where I wanted it. So we know when it dries, you can see through here, roughly, how we get that nice sort of like heart shape developing through there. Really, really important. So you're almost feeling like there's a bit of like length and weight in the hair underneath that will drop that hair down. Because if it was layered, it would then bulk out all the way through and square, and that's absolutely perfectly fine. But I wanted a slightly different shape on this. Now, options. The best thing I feel to attack this next is to go and do the fringe. The fringe really is one of the sort of like main focal points of shag haircut. And why is that? Well, if you look back at like those classic photographs of Fleetwood Mac, which is Stevie Nicks in the day, etc. Those ones that they were always in there. They always had this very, very prominent fringe. I'm just checking my section pattern for this to make sure it's good. Very important to be disciplined about that. So where do we find it comes from? Simple, just place the comb on there. You see the comb lifts off the head there. That's where it's going to go, as per usual. As always, anyone coming to Fashion Week, if you see me without a tea in my hand, all right, breakfast tea, worry, get very worried. Because my assistant obviously has not got one, Stacey, and it's left me home and dry. So I need one of these to function throughout the whole day, because I'm not going to have time to eat. Okay, let's have a look at that fringe. The frange. The bangs, as you like to call them on this side of the Atlantic. Anyone know why we call it a bang? In the comments, please. Don't Google it. Just tell me in 30 seconds. Why do we call it a bang? Counting down. 20. 10. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Any answers, Mike?
Nope.
All right. We call it a bang because they used to bang. What they call it used to bang the pony's tail off of the back of the horse, straight across, to knock it off, bang it off, bang the pony's tail. So that's where it comes from. Right. Elevate the hair out. This is where you can see this. So look at the elevation on this. Deal with the only amount of hair that I can deal with. I'm not pulling too much hair into this. So where, in relation to the section through here, I don't want that hair being stretched in, so I'm going to make this smaller. Nice and central. It's much easier if you see it from this angle. Mike probably loves me doing a fringe like this because he doesn't have to zoom in. Self-explanatory. Let's make this reasonably long. So we're looking at beyond the nose. Elevate, elevate, elevate. Nice amount of tension. I stop that middle knuckle. That hair here is so loose, can't keep the tension the same. So all I do is get rid of that hair, move along, pulling it straight out. Stay consistent. So I went my hand position, did not flip it over. Much more comfortable through here, work that way. I come to the next section over, straight out. Okay. Straight out, and I'm going to pull this round so you can probably get a better idea where I can see that. There you go. So I'm not overextending that fringe to the middle. It's straight out from the head. That way. I'm going to move back so you can see me cut it. Any comments so far?
I'm mesmerized.
It's just too early in the day, isn't it? I like that bit there. That shouldn't be there. And stay disciplined when you do this. Make sure you elevate the same, make sure it stays nice and square when you put it out. And all that will be revealed in one section as 1 second. Once we have done that, without any layering in there, we then find we do have perfect balance both sides, with it being longer on the sides, shorter in the middle, which is what we want more than anything, because that will then force the hair to cut back when it's dried. We will do something else on this when I'm detailing it in a minute to make sure that it gives you that sort of like that wanted curtain appearance where the curtains are falling apart. We'll do that on the actual detail area. Now we can take down the rest, let free the rest of the hair. Release the dogs of war. There we go. Mike likes that one. Now, how do we connect, if we wish to, connect that? So very, very simple. I'm going to go back to a profile parting through here. Slightly larger section because of the bulkiness of the hair is not there, so I can be generous with that. I'm going to pull this out square. That is my original layer through here, and look, there's hardly any hair through that. So what do? I literally just slide that scissor off and away, letting the bottom drop out. Simple as that. I pivot around the head, doing exactly the same. And look, anyone who's like new to the industry, been doing hair a little while, this is great to do this. Get yourself a long mannequin, work up in stages, do some nice one length hair, blow dry that, finish it off, make the mannequin work for you. Come in, do a mid-length haircut, nice long layers, do like a seamless layer. You could then come in and do something like this because you're working up the head. After this, you could chop this into a nice, really nice short choppy bob, because you're going to see how that influences really, really well with the fringe and those layers. That will be revealed shortly. So this is where you can just sort of like put haircuts together and understand them with weight distribution, etc. Same again, we're elevating it and it's coming straight out towards me, okay? I'm not pulling it back to the middle through here, it's straight out towards me. Look at the tension in the hair through here. Sliding action. Working off that centre profile section. Now I'm going to take a section just behind the ear, pull all that forward. Do exactly the same. Drop it out. Now this is where I would take this hair and I'm going to overextend it back to the previous section. Why? Purely because there is not a lot of hair there in the front of the head. So I'm erring on the side of caution. We should be then looking at something that we can see shape-wise and silhouette. We just look at that side. One length, rock chick vibes, very easy. And this is where I think this is where it differs. If you don't do too much of this forward grad, rounding those corners off, this is what will give your hair that really, really cool girl look. I didn't understand that for years. Like why, you know, because just doing traditional cutting, I was always doing forward graduation, etc. frustrated me when I was younger. I was like, I want that look. What am I doing wrong? So it was just great to understand that at a later point through my apprenticeship, which is many years ago. As you can see, same process, pivoting around the head from that centre profile section, pulling that hair in front of the ear, moving that away. Working with the hair comfortably and how much I can section, how much I can pick up, and then we pull that back, overextend it to the previous one. And voila. And you'll see through here, especially on this side, I've got some really cool little layers coming in. I'm going to pull that out of the way. Through here, from that fringe, okay, where this hair goes on natural fall, that was from the previous layer. Look where that falls to. Impacts beautifully on with the actual length of the fringe as well. So really, really important is to see that that now marries all the way around as far as layers are concerned. There's balance all the way through here, and then it drops out nicely into sort of like this fall through here, and that's really, really imperative. Right, I'm going to do one thing while the hair is wet. Let's make sure there's connection with that fringe. Once again, everything's come off that profile section. Virtually the whole haircut has. So I know we pre-sectioned the hair off into that, you know, that soft diamond, but cutting wise, we've worked all off a central profile. It makes everything very, very easy. Now we're having a look at the hair. Here we go, layers. Fringe, layers. We take that corner out. The only time I'm doing some point cutting, as you can see through here, the scissors come in perfect angle. They're not coming in chopping this way. I personally like to come in and deep point cut, give myself some room. So what am I doing there is I'm removing some weight from that center section of the fringe. That will certainly help it travel away in that desirable curtain style that we like at the moment. That's the size of the layers. I definitely don't want to cut that off. And that's where there is some disconnection. One more section. Back to recession. I'm pushing this for the sake of the camera. I don't generally like to do that. I love to actually pull everything towards me, but for the sake of Mike's easy camera work, he's flagging me there behind the scenes, giving me the knife across the neck treatment.
Always grateful when you play along.
So we should see that pop a little bit that way. There we go. Right, styling product of choice, simple booster volumizing spray. I only want to put this on because I want to smell that wonderful coconut. Right. It's going to be boring time. I'm going to try and chat over the top of this, but let's put the diffuser on. That will nullify some of the sound anyway. How's that, Mike? Not too bad? Okay. I'm going to concentrate on the front more than anywhere else. You want to see me dry the back of the hair. It's not exactly entertaining, is it? And even if we get this off, you know, 80% dry, you'll be able to see the shape. Hopefully. Anyone else chopped in? Hi, Kevin. Ruby's over in the UK. The Megan Fox. Megan Fox. No, it's Megan Fox. She's just trying to hide herself. Kevin would have some great insight, you know, to this sort of hair, the old shags. I'd love to hear his approach on them. I do like to give it that essence of like a 70s vibe. Kevin, are you going to be in New York in 2 weeks? We'd love to catch up with you and I'll buy you a cup of tea, my old friend. It's great to see you.
Kevin says, you never understood how scarves indoors now when you start doing hair done, but they love them. Used to do an all black jacket with extra buttons and buckles. Secret khaki scarves.
Mate, you know, it's just the way it is. I came out wearing a scarf when I was born. I thought I was French. So maybe that's where it's from. I tell you who I blame. I blame Tim Hartley. He had that, you know, he was a big scarf wearer. Marvellous. Now listen, anyone watching doesn't know who Kevin is, just go to his Instagram account. You'll see some absolutely beautiful work on there. And I've, you know, without embarrassing, one of the nicest guys in hairdressing you'll ever meet. True rock star in the session world. I'm totally jealous of his retreat that he has out in the desert, off-grid. Off-grid! He's always covered in rattlesnakes and scorpions, but yeah, phenomenal. Phenomenal. Love the appeal of that. And there's a question for you. Why as hairdressers do we want that off-grid thing? You know, so many of us talk about that. We're like, we want to have a place we can disappear to, not see anyone. Is it burnout from dealing with people all the time? I don't know. Maybe. I'd like one on the side of not like mountain, but cliffs overlooking the ocean. You know, something like that would be really cool. Watching the thunderstorms roll in. Thanks, sir. What I'd like, you know, is to do with haircuts like this. They're not silly technical. They're quite, you know, it's just understanding weight distribution, the hair type you're working with. Have we made the hair look bulkier, giving it a different look? You know, just from blunt cutting that we have. The fringe obviously is the major detail of it. But just understanding that shape and sort of like how do you reference that as far as, you know, the decades previous? How do you give it that vibe? You know, I think it's just great to look at old photographs and understand, like, you know, why do they look like they do? Try on.
Hi Gary, from Tasha Liz.
She's been reading too many of those pictures we get in Home Goods and IKEA or whatever, isn't she? Yeah, she's been getting too much into those.
Jason says, it looks like she's ready for a rock show.
What does she know? She never goes to rock shows. She goes to, what's Stacey's genre? Stacey punk? No, Stacey's not into punk. She's into, no, she's into Blue Mountain Grass, whatever it's called. She's a folk singer, yeah. She just plays her banjo at the weekends. Ding, 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 ding. Yeah.
I got another comment from Kevin. I think the burnout from the salon work and softest clients out there and the hairdressers become using it from home to their partners is definitely a thing on the problem.
But don't go home. There you go, there's the answer to your problem. Just stay out.
So they say modern problems with modern solutions. And bluegrass kicks ass.
Who's that, Stacey?
No, Kevin.
Hey! Yeah, but Kevin looks like you could play it. Kevin looks like he literally has been living that dream forever.
What's
Oh, you could. Now what's like the washballs? That is what he would be on. There you go. Question of the day: if you were going to play an instrument, what instrument would you play? Mike?
I think saxophone when I was younger, so not that bad.
You're a bit Kenny Loggins, are you? Kenny Loggins? Kenny G. Kenny G. That's a bit of you, Kenny G. Mike is Kenny G. Me, I'm a drummer. Yeah. Drummers wear scarves, don't they, Kevin?
Double bass pedal or what?
I'm just making like loads of Dave Grohl noise. That would be that, yeah.
Oh, you got another scarf on there. Yeah, we put the scarf from 90 degree weather, gotta love it.
And who is sending that one out? Tasha? Well, it might be 90 degrees where you are. Mike's turned the air conditioning down to like 3 degrees in here.
Studio lights, you know?
Yeah, right. It's all about image. Right, I haven't done the back, but here we go with a little take on a Shag haircut. Now to accentuate that fringe a little bit more, I could come in and literally slide cut some of that centre out. You know, these mannequin heads do have a lot of hair on there. By doing that, you are just then increasing the likelihood, the percentage of the hair will be pushed away from the face. Short supports long, but as you can see from here, lengthwise, look, remember how long I cut that fringe? That sort of vibe is what I want. And I always reference Chrissie Hynde. If you don't know who that is, go back. Kevin's going to know who that is. One of the great long fringes of all time. I think hers is even better than Stevie Nicks. I'm sorry, but I'm a Chrissie Hynde fan. And I think it has to impact. You've got to have that length on it just to give it that certain joie de vivre, which is a great little bit of terminology. And there is my, quite essentially, that is my Shag version haircut of a soft diamond shape when you haven't got a lot of hair. So it's made the hair look a lot bulkier than what it is. You saw when I picked it up, very, very stringy. It was really blown out. The bottom section was very blunt cut, very at the beginning, just to increase the weight line. And just remember that I did not take any rounding off that edges. I let the layering through here impact through here to give it a soft blend on there. So you can see they're a little bit more one length, and you can see through this your layering is balanced from both sides. Okay, so you have that shape through here, that little heart shape. So I hope you enjoyed that. I always enjoy cutting that one. The next one, there's strong, that one, mastering client retention with Ali on October the 20th. That's a long way away. We've got to be doing one in New York before then, haven't we?
We could. You want to go live in New York?
Yeah, we always try. Let's try and do one in live New York. I'll tell you what, if I can, grab Kevin for a 5-minute, chat, like fireside chat, that would be amazing.
Well, we can't
no pressure on him. No. I know. They'll have to be watching. But that's on October, Monday the 20th, usual time, 10 with Ali, mastering client retention. I think that is definitely, it's always been, a huge topic. But in this day and age, it's even more so, I think, with social media, because to a certain extent, people that are not a social media animal, are they fighting that? How do they win it? I'd love to hear some feedback on that. If you don't use social media a lot, how are you getting over that? Are you doing the old school way of just networking through clients, just doing great work, and your clients get you, more referrals and always keep coming back just because you're just great at your job? Be really interesting tomorrow. So thanks again, and we'll see you on the next one.